Hey guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. This is your host Thomas Tyree from On the Hot Podcast. Today, this is going to be episode 101 for you guys today. Of course, this episode will be coming out on all four of our platforms, our Instagram account, our Facebook account, our YouTube account, and our Apple Podcast account. So let's go ahead and dive into the first segment of episode 101 for you guys today. I'll be sharing my thoughts on the second round of the NBA playoffs. So, the playoffs, there's nothing better than NBA playoff basketball. If you love sports and you don't love the NBA playoffs, there's something wrong with you, because the playoffs has been entertaining from the play-in tournament all the way up to the second round. So I'll be sharing my thoughts on the second round, starting off with the Eastern Conference right now. We are watching the number 2 seeds Boston Celtics take on the number 3 seeded Philadelphia 76ers. Currently, this series is tied 2-2 apiece, but kudos to the 76ers finding a way to hang around with the reigning defending Eastern Conference champions and the Boston Celtics. The Philadelphia 76ers deserve a lot of credit. Last Monday, they stole Game 1 in Boston. The MVP of the league, Joel Embiid, was ruled out for Game 1. The Philadelphia 76ers stepped up, and James Harden definitely stepped up without Joel Embiid in the lineup for Game 1. And really, he's really been the reason why the Philadelphia 76ers are tied up with the Boston Celtics in this series. He's been the true X factor in this series. We're watching the old James Harden, the Houston days come back to life. Something that I thought would be missing from James Harden's repertoire. That's why I said he was under the most pressure. One of my players under the most pressure to concede during the playoffs. James Harden is definitely living up to that. Game 1 in the playoffs, he scored 45 points in Game 1 against Boston. And then in yesterday's game, he scored 42 points in Game 4 of the playoffs. So James Harden has definitely been the X factor, definitely looking good in the playoffs thus far. There's something that's concerning to me. I really do think that heading into Game 5 in Boston is a must-win situation for the Boston Celtics. It's a game you cannot lose, especially in Boston, because if the 76ers take Game 5 from you in Boston, it's going to be so hard to win Game 6 in a win-or-go-home situation in a hostile environment of Philly. I just don't see that happening if they let Game 5 get away from them. I do feel like that the 76ers will have the chance to close out the series in Game 6 in Philly. So it's a must-win for the Celtics. And there's something that I've been needing to see in this series. I need to see Jason Tatum step up. Yes, Jaylen Brown needs to step up as well, but Jason Tatum, I'm missing that edge that I saw last year as a playoff one of the best playoff players in the National Basketball Association. I need that. Right now, he's only averaging 24 points in this series, and midway through the game yesterday in the second half of Game 4 against the Philadelphia 76ers, he only had 6 points, shooting 3 for 11 from the field. Obviously, he turned it around towards the end of the game, but at the halfway point of the third quarter, someone like Jason Tatum only having 6 points, shooting 30 for 11 from the field. I need better results from that. He's a much better player than that, and he needs to show up if they're going to have a chance to move on to get to the Eastern Conference if they want to get past the Philadelphia 76ers. Then we have the fifth seeded New York Knicks taking on the 8th seeded Miami Heat. Currently, as I record this video, the Miami Heat are up in this series 2-1 over the New York Knicks. If Jimmy Butler truly did not miss Game 2 due to that ankle injury, I really do believe that the Miami Heat would be up 3-0 on the New York Knicks right now. That collapse in the fourth quarter of Game 2 in New York City, the collapse in Game 2 in the fourth quarter where the New York Knicks went on that tremendous run. Kudos to them. I tip my hat off to them for that unbelievable run in the fourth quarter. But if Jimmy Butler's on the court, that fourth quarter collapse does not happen, and the Miami Heat truthfully would be up 3-0 in this series if Jimmy Butler did not miss Game 2. And despite the fact that the Miami Heat lost Tyler Hero Game 1 against the Milwaukee Bucks in the first round of the playoffs, then the Game 3, they lost Victor Oladipo late in the fourth quarter to that knee injury. Both superstars are going to be out Victor Oladipo out for the remainder of the playoffs. The only chance that Tyler Hero has to come back this playoffs if the Miami Heat get to the NBA Finals. So I'm really proud of the Miami Heat finding a way to get past the 8th seeded Bucks without those 2 caliber superstars that bring a lot to the table for this Heat team. And I'm proud of them for currently being up 2-1 to the New York Knicks right now. I still believe that the Knicks, that the Heat are the better team than the New York Knicks. I do believe that they're going to close that out in 6. Again, like I said on last week's podcast episode, the way how the series is going, the Heat have the momentum. And Game 6, if it gets to South Beach, they're not letting that one get away from them. They're definitely going to close the series out in 6 in Miami. But kudos to Eric Spoelstra. He's bringing Kyle Lowry off the bench. The second unit has been struggling all year long. That is one of the reasons why the Miami Heat found themselves as a lower seed in the conference this year compared to being the first seed last year. The second unit played horrible they were not at the level that they were supposed to be at. And it showed in the regular season. They were one of the worst second units in the NBA this NBA season. And a good coach finds ways to make the second unit better. What better way is it to bring Kyle Lowry, a future Hall of Famer, off the bench to help this team play? And yes, it's really a good move to bring Kyle Lowry off the bench because it allows him to play the style of basketball that he wants to. He doesn't have to be the floor facilitator when he's on the court coming off the bench with the second unit. He could play as free as he wants. He could play the game how he wants to. And I like the fact that the Miami Heat are doing things with Gabe Vincent starting at the point guard position and letting Kyle Lowry come off the bench. So I do like that, and it's really helping the second unit after losing guys like Tyler Hero and Victor Oladipo. But if the New York Knicks want to get to the Eastern, if they want to get to the Eastern Conference, their first Eastern Conference appearance would be since 2000. They need Julius Randle to step up. We've seen Bronson step up. We've seen R.J. Barrett step up. We've seen Josh Hart step up. We've seen countless New York Knicks players step up. But where is their caliber superstar in Julius Randle? Where is the former All-Star? What is he doing in this series? What has he been doing truly throughout the playoffs? Because he wasn't a factor in the series against the Cleveland Cavaliers in the first round either. So I definitely need to see more from the Julius Randle and the New York Knicks if they want to move on to the Eastern Conference Finals. Moving on to the Western Conference. Right now we have the number 1 seeded Denver Nuggets taking on the 4th seeded Phoenix Suns. Currently this series is also tied 2 apiece. This is very entertaining series right now. I think this is the best second round series that we are seeing. Both teams are offensive juggernauts. We're seeing offensive basketball. If you're a fan of defensive basketball, you might as well not watch this series. But as an NBA fan, it is so entertaining to watch these two caliber teams match up against each other in the second round of the playoffs. And Kevin Durant and Devin Booker are carrying the Phoenix Suns on their back in this series. They're going to go as far as this franchise, this NBA postseason is going to go as far as Kevin Durant and Devin Booker can truly carry them. And give them credit. They're competing against a Denver Nuggets team without Chris Paul. They're doing it with but actually let me talk about that. Yes, they're winning it without Chris Paul, but it seems like the Suns might be better without Chris Paul right now. It's hard to say that. A point guard, one of the best point guards of all time. The Suns are actually playing better without him. They've won 2 games in a row without Chris Paul. They can fully use their bench and they play at a faster pace. Something that I said the problem with the Phoenix Suns is they don't have a bench to use. And Monty Williams is actually giving his bench players minutes to take the load off of Kevin Durant and Devin Booker, who still are playing like offensive dynamites out there for the Phoenix Suns. But the Suns look better without Chris Paul. They're getting the bench. They're going deeper into their bench. They're playing at a faster paced style, something that the Denver Nuggets are having a hard time defensively keeping up with. And I like what I'm seeing from the Phoenix Suns so far. Like I said on last week's podcast, Nikola Jokic would have his fingerprints all over this series. DeAndre Ayton does not have an answer for him, and it showed last night when Nikola Jokic had 53 points last night in a losing effort. I'm also glad they also did not suspend Nikola Jokic. There was an incident, if you guys watched the game, or if you guys did not watch the game, there was an incident last night during the second quarter of this game. Obviously, Game 4 took place in Phoenix, Arizona. We saw in the second quarter that the ball went out of bounds. There was a fan that was trying to hold the ball from Nikola Jokic as well. But the Phoenix Suns owner was trying to hold the ball from Nikola Jokic, trying to take the ball from him. And he retaliated by giving a little petty shove to Nikola Jokic. Well, Nikola Jokic retaliated back, gave him a shove with his forearm, and he flopped up in the air. I'm so glad they did not suspend Nikola Jokic, because any other time, if an NBA fan does something like that, try to take the ball away from an NBA player, and then gives him a petty push, and then retaliates and then gets pushed by the player, that fan is automatically out of this arena. We don't know if he's even going to come back into the arena or not. But it's the Phoenix Suns owner, and he gets away with it. I believe after that there was a technical foul shot that the Phoenix Suns got to take, and they got possession of the ball afterwards. Crazy turn of events, but I'm actually glad that Nikola Jokic did not get suspended. He was fined with, I believe, a $25,000 fine. It is what it is, but it would have really been crazy if Nikola Jokic got suspended for Game 5. Phoenix steals that one, and then we're having a what if a conversation if Nikola Jokic did not play in Game 5 in a pivotal 2-2 series right now. But the Nuggets need to get back to playing defense if they want to win this series. Right now, what I'm seeing from this team, everything looks good, except the only problem I have is Aaron Gordon. He needs to step up and help. He's averaging under 15 points this series. I've seen Nikola Jokic step up big time, whether it's scoring, getting rebounds, getting his teammates involved. Nikola Jokic just has fingerprints all over this series. Then you have Jamal Murray, who has stepped up. You have Michael Porter Jr., who has stepped up as well. They're all contributing offensively, but Aaron Gordon is nowhere to be found in the offensive picture. Definitely needs to step up his game if the Denver Nuggets want to get to the Western Conference Finals. But I still have the Nuggets winning the series in Game 7. It's still early series to me. And then the last series, we have the 6th-seeded Golden State Warriors taking on the 7th-seeded Los Angeles Lakers. Right now, the Lakers are up 2-1 in this respective series. Like I said last week on the podcast, I do believe that the winner of this series will truly go to the NBA Finals. It just has that Cinderella story on both teams, what they went through this season. I believe whoever gets past the other is definitely going to go to represent the Western Conference and play in the NBA Finals this year. The Lakers have this series truly in the bag based off what I've seen in the first 3 games of this series. If Anthony Davis can stay consistent, it is so hard because when healthy, he's in the conversation of being a top 5 player in the league when healthy. But his problem is just being healthy and being consistent. They've always been Anthony Davis' biggest problems in career. Let's talk about consistency. Game 1, he had 30 points, 23 rebounds. I tweeted on our Twitter account that he was on barbecue chicken alert. That's how good of a Game 1 that Anthony Davis had. But then you fast forward to Game 2, he only had 11 points and shot 5 for 11 from the field, and then inconsistent. Then you turn around Saturday night, Game 3, he had 25 points and 13 rebounds. So if Anthony Davis can stay consistent, the Warriors they have lost this series because they don't have a big man to stop Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis just needs to attack them in the paint for the rest of the series. I don't want to see no fadeaway jump shots. I want to see you do some post work. Go in the paint and dominate. And I guarantee you the Lakers will walk away victorious and punch a ticket to the Western Conference Finals because the Warriors don't have an answer for Anthony Davis. The Lakers have also actually did a good job defensively playing against Steph Curry. Jared Vanderbilt is doing a good job guarding him defensively. He deserves a lot of credit for so far, and one of the reasons why the Lakers are up 2-1 in this series. But this series is far from over. Don't you ever count out the Golden State Warriors. This is going to be a fighting series all the way to the bitter end. But I just feel like right now that the Lakers are the better team, and I'm going to stick with them to win this series in 6. That's where I feel like especially how the first 3 games are going. Like I said, it all depends on Anthony Davis. The Warriors are obviously going to shoot. You can play as much defense as you want. They just have shooting is just in their DNA. But if they can't play defense, they're going home. And Anthony Davis just needs to attack the paint, and the Lakers have this in the bag. But those are my thoughts on the second round of the NBA playoffs. Definitely an entertaining second round of the NBA playoffs thus far.